Okay, next command is touch. What happens if you touch something and if your touch is magical? That thing will appear. Touch appear. And we have a new file which is called appear. Technically, if you check the touch, touch change file timestamp. It touches something and okay, you touched it, its time is new. You change the timestamp. But if the file doesn't exist, you are creating it. So if I do a touch new file, a new file will be created with the current timestamp. For sure, this is a virtual machine and time is not correctly set. I never awake at 4 a.m. But you can see how touch works. Say I have this file and I want to change its timestamp. I can say touch all. And you can see on LTRH it went to the bottom. So this is the newest one and this is its new timestamp. Today at now. So if I touch a file, if it doesn't exist, you will create an empty file with that name, with the current timestamp. If the file exists, you will update its timestamp to the current time. But you can specify your timestamps too. These are some of the more common methods. One switch is -T, which accepts something like this. These are in the square bracket, so these are optional, but you can say century, year, month, day, hour, minutes, seconds. So if you say -T, touch -T, a file, your file will get this timestamp. Because this is very easy to write and easy to remember, even you can omit this part and start from month, day, hour, minute, and only give this. So it's very common to use this and change file 1 to this date. But you can use -D and give it some more fun times, like -D 11 a.m. -D last fortnight, -D yesterday 6 a.m. As you can see, because we have space in this string, we are using double quotes. -D 2 days ago 12. -D tomorrow 2 sharp, or 2:00 if you are listening to this. -D 5th of November 5 Nov file 3, and the times will be changed to those. This is sometimes used because, for example, you have a process which looks for new files and deploys them, and you want to deploy or redeploy something, for example, or for any other reason. And you have another fun switch which is -R, which is reference. So if I have a look into the man touch, it says change file timestamp. You can say -R reference that specific file. So I want to say that this is a very old time and this have come with the ISO. For example, this one. So what I can do, I can find one of the standard files on the system which created when I created this Linux, installed this Linux, or updated. For example, one such a file is etc. Debian version. This is a file which says which Debian version this system is. And this is a Ubuntu, but still have this. So this has created from Bookworm. So I can say reference this. Touch, reference etc. Debian version, all files. Now if I do this, you can see that my all files have updated to August 22nd, 2021. This is the time of this file. This is very cool. Another cool command you should know is file, and tell you what. Many hackers, crackers, people who want to investigate systems, people who play CTF challenges do use this command initially to understand what a file is. File will determine file type. On a Windows systems, operating system determine files and their type based on their extension. So if you rename an exe file to a PNG, the operating system will think, okay, this is PNG, how cute. In the Linux world, in the Unix world, you find out about type of the file using the file commands. File commands which look into the file for some magic numbers, for some code, for some clues, and determine what the file is. So if I say file, new file, it will tell me this is an empty file. Okay. File, tasks. This is a ASCII text. File, all files. So this is a gzip compressed data. This is from Unix. Cool. I say which bash. What is bash when I run bash? Say file user bin bash. It tells me this is a ELF. This is Linux executable file. 64-bit LSP version 1 dynamically linked interpreter is this one if you want to run this. And this is for GNU Linux. Very interesting. So file can tell you what a file is. Even it can give you more information. If it's an image, it says this is an image file with this many colors, these bits of colors, and these dimensions, for example. It's very useful. Let me see if I have any cool files somewhere. For example, I have a deb file here. I can say file bzr, and it says this is a Debian binary package. This format. Cool. Compressed with XZ. Interesting. So, that's the file command. And -i switch prints the MIME format. MIME is the standard for each file. So, for example, if you say file -i bzr, it says, okay, this MIME format, if you want to, for example, send it to a web server, you have to say, I have an application binary package and character set is binary. This is a file. It's interesting. Whenever we get a new file, we always try it with file to make sure that this is what it says it is. And another command is dd and find. dd copies data from its input to its output. Sometimes it's like copy. Let me go here once more. 103. For example, I want to copy my task to a new file. I can say dd input file is my tasks. Output file is list tasks. This is copying with extra silly steps. Tells you, okay, dd started working. My input file is this. My output file is this. So I read 207 bytes and copied them, and this was my speed. That's very useful. It is useful when you start doing more fun things. For example, I want a 1 megabyte file. I say, okay, dd. My input file is from devices. Use the 0. My output file is a 1 megabyte file. And how much should I copy? Because now my input file is infinite. I have an input file which is a device which just produces 0. My output file is this. I say, okay, count is, for example, this much, and block size is this much. So I'm saying each block size is 1 kilobyte, and I want 1024 of them. It says, okay, I started working. Copied this much file, and this was my speed. And I have a 1 megabyte file here, human readable, it says 1 megabyte. You use dd in different places. Even you can, I used to get backups from my computer using dd. Nowadays it's considered silly. I would say DD with root access. Your input file is on your device's, your SDA, the whole first hard disk. And your output file is backup.dd. So it would create a file and would read every bit from here and would write it from here. And block size was 4K. At the end, I would have one file like this. I would be able to recover my whole hard disk by doing dd. My input file is backup dd. My output file is /dev sda. Would read every byte from this and would write it here. Swapping output and input. Very cool. Or you can gzip it on the way. dd input file read from this and gzip it and output here. Or something which is very common nowadays, sudo dd. My input file is the Ubuntu ISO I downloaded. My output file is device SDC. I have an SDA, which is my hard disk. SDB, my external hard disk. SDC is the USB I just plugged in. So it would write everything from this ISO to this USB disk. And this USB disk will be a Ubuntu bootable device. I tell it block size is 2K to make it a little bit faster. Each time it reads 2K from here, write it to here, till this is finished. So DD is used in lots of places and it works with block devices. And the last command I want to show you in this part is find. As you can guess, find finds files. And then find whatever you find here. I have to give it a path. I'm telling here. Find everything you can find here. It gives me all the file here. I can say find in my home. It will give you all the files in your home with all the subdirectories and everything. Not very useful. I can say find type directory. Search my home and all the subdirectories, but show me only files with the type directory. So show me only directories. So okay, these are the directories. You can see I have lots of directories there. Yeah. Let me go one step. Okay, let's search for find. Show me all the files with the name 103. Says I didn't find anything. How come? Find everything which starts with whatever, has 103 in it, and whatever after that. So okay, I found some files for you. One is here, and you have a PNG file here which has 103 for sure somewhere. Can you find it? No. Here, 103. So, you can find different things using the find commands. Normally you tell it find where to start searching and it will search all the subdirectories. What to search for. -name will search for some specific thing. For example, in this example, it's search for whatever starting with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and then whatever. So all the files and directories started with A to J and then anything after them. When I do iname, I mean case insensitive. There is no difference between uppercase and lowercase. Just do your search. So it's very common when searching to search for iname. And then for example, whatever file which has Jody in it. For example, you saw name, iname, also type. -type will tell you what type. Folders, sorry, very bad mistake. Files, -d for directories, -l for symbolic links. You will see them later. You can search for many other things too. For example, for size, you can say, I want the size to be exactly 100 characters or 100 bytes, which are the same. I want the files which are larger than 100K, smaller than 20 meg, larger than 2 gigabytes. So when you have a problem on your disk space, you can just do a quick find like this. Say, okay, I have a disk space. Maybe I have something large. Find in my home, what happened? For size plus 1 gigabyte. There were no such files. Let's find the photo. Search in all my directories. I could do this too, you know, whatever way you say a path. And I want iname whatever which ends in PNG. It finds you a lot of different things in the cache which ends with PNG. Let's find a large one where size is larger than 100 kilobytes. Found only one. This is it. I can say file this. What is this? It says, okay, this is a PNG image data and this is its size. 8-bit color map, non-interlaced information about PNG. See how cool is this? Very cool is this. Or you can search for size 0, because this is very common. You want to find 0 file sizes. There is a switch for it. Find here and all the subdirectories for empty files. Also, it's very important to be able to search for time. Not only because this is part of the exam, but because when you have an idea somebody might have done something in my system, you want to search for all the files which have been changed during last hour. Or you want to see who accessed which, not who, but which files have been accessed yesterday. You can do this with this. There are 3 different prefixes: A, C, and M. A for is access. C is for status change. For example, owner is change. M is for modification. And you can have min or time. If you have a min, it's in minutes. So if I say find here dash m min 10, it will find you it will show you, find and show you all the files which have been modified exactly 10 minutes ago. If you do minus min, minus 10, it will show you all the files which have been modified less than 10 minutes ago. Very, very useful. Or you can say even accessed min minus 60. All the files which have been accessed in the last hour. Even when you are checking to see what is going on in the system, sometimes you do this and see which files are being modified or even accessed. Same thing happens with time, but it's a little bit more complicated. You can say dash a time plus 1. This will show you all the files which have been accessed 1 in 24 hours ago. Because you have a plus, it will look for 2 in 24 hours ago. Little bit, I believe, not what you expect. When you say time plus 1, normally in my mind, I think whatever access more than a year ago. More than a day ago. Because it multiplies in 24 hours and then check this in hours. But technically, because you are telling plus 1, it does 2 in 24 hours and will show you these files. So when we want to search for files for last day even, we do not go with this. Because this is not very, what's the correct word? Intuitive, I believe. When you say plus 1, practically it says, okay, so I will multiply 2 in 24 hours and check files for older than this. If you want that, it's better to work with minutes and see how many minutes are in a day and say dash a min plus that number, and it will show you the older than that specific date. You can give it a switch like day start, so it will consider midnight as a next day and not exactly based on the hours. Or you can say, wow, what a motorcycle. Or you can tell it a newer, and you will give it a file and it will be your reference. So this way you can search for files. If it was confusing, sorry, but it's easy. You have A for access, C for status change, and M for modify. You have min for minutes, and you have time for what, if you say time n, the system will create n multiplied by 24 and will check this based on the hour. But the problem is if you say, for example, -1, practically what you mean is previous day. But what system does, it says, okay, -1 is so 0 in 24 hours, so it will show you nothing. It's a little bit not that nice, so use min instead. So I can say find in my home modification minute is in last 10 minutes. Haven't we modified anything in last 10 minutes? It seems so. If I want to double check, I can say -L. Give me an ls of these. I can do some things on what I found. This is just showing them. I can say give me an ls on this. Oh, sorry, ls. And it gives me an ls on the files and says, okay, this is the time of this file. Or I can do a print, which print the outputs. I can manipulate this print and print on different formats. Not very important. Just know that you can print them. You can ls on them. Or more importantly, you can exec something on them. For example, as a test, I can do exec each one of these you find, run this command on it. Echo, this is the file, and I can use this as the placeholder for the file name and finish it with this. A little bit ugly and strange, I know. This is the placeholder, so this will go here, and this will tell that this exec is finished. So what I'm telling is, find in my home whatever is modified in last 60 minutes and exec these commands on it and replace this with this. So if I run this, I will have, this is the file, blah, blah. If I wanted to remove all the files which I've modified in the last hour, I could do rm this. As a trick, I never run this just on the fly. I put this in the quotes to make sure that if there is a space, nothing bad will happen. And for me, I will do a test run with echo. So if I run this, this command will be run, then this will be run, that this will be run, and blah, 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 blah. Nice. So this doesn't work for this. I have to go with like this. So now if the space is there, that will be solved. No issues. Anyway, these are small tricks. Even I can have two. For example, I can say move the one you found to /temp, blah, blah. This won't work on the directories. We will have some issues, but I just want to show you how you can work. A good example is here. Say you have some HTML files, but their extension is saved as HTM. So you can do find all the files with the name whatever.htm, exec this on it. Replace this with the file name, and another time replace this with the file name with the L at the end of it. So if it finds something like 1htm, it will execute move 1htm to 1html. So every file it finds will be moved. And because deleting is a very normal thing to do, there is a switch for delete. This was long. Let's go to the short one, the last part of the section 3 about compressions.